All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Looking at the first semis match of the Ore Tourney. And for this one, we have a nice surprise. We have in the red, Gene's perspective for this game. So we're going to be playing through him, kind of sweating a little bit with him. I got the fresh cut. I hope you guys like it. It's a little bit short, but it'll grow. And for now, we take those always. So let's hop in. In first position, we got blue. This is Dylan. Dylan, you saw in our last play-in game, not last play-in game, but play-in game 1, where he played in the first round after barely making it, and won his first match against two very strong players, and it was an exciting one. It was a lot closer than we thought it would be, and we're happy that he's made it. Choosing to take the top left, high production or spot, I think it's solid. I think where Gene's pointing to now in second position here in the red is probably the best spot. Top right is definitely consideration just for production for road building, but I love my wheat, so I love taking those spots. So we'll see what he's thinking about. He's probably thinking about the way back as well, what he can get. Probably hoping if he does go there, it's looking like he will. He's probably looking to get some wheat and ore on the way back, so probably that bottom right with the wheat port is tempting. You could also maybe take the free road with 3-5-4 with the wheat point up and maybe get some extra ore production, point left, get some sheep production with that sheep port, and also you have the brick port at the top right. So definitely some options, not a bad placement at all, and we'll see where green goes. Green here, this is Alex, and Alex obviously has had the first perfect series of regular play games of this year, going perfectly 4-0, and we're very, very excited to see that. We haven't seen that since our very first season when Myth Min went 6-0 in his games, only to make it all the way to the finals and then lose. Could have almost had the perfect run from start to end there, but we'll see if Alex can pull that off here, starting with this game. This is the semis, right? So you win this one, you win the next one being the finals, and you win the whole thing. And you can't ask for much more than that. Now, if I'm green here, 30 seconds left, I'm thinking of definitely getting some wheat and especially some ore. And the thing is with the ore, it's looking like it's lacking. You have the 11 spot, the 8 is kind of cornered off. So yeah, this is honestly not a terrible placement, and I think he'll get the free road now too on the 5-10-9. Wheat port is very strong. Maybe pointing down for the 3-for-1 port, or pointing left to try to snag some extra wheat. But yeah, certainly not a bad placement there. I think if I'm red now, after green places 9-5-10, I think I go. Oh man, that's tough. I think I take that free road, 3-5-4, point left, sheep port, brick port. That feels pretty good. You could also point up and get that ore spot, but I think pointing left, getting that sheep production will be good for the sheep port. It'll give you a lot of flexibility, and I don't think anyone is going to build to the 8-3 anytime soon. Blue's probably going to take that 3-for-1 port first and won't really need to build a third settlement on that 8 ore. So I think you have time to take it, right? So I think if I'm red, I have to forego either ore or wheat, and I think that spot is calling to me for sure. You don't want to go into the 6 sheep because the geometry doesn't really work out with the sheep port. So I think definitely where he's leaning here is the correct spot. Maybe point left. Pointing left would be very fun here. just because you're foregoing ore altogether. It's gonna be a hard late game, but if you make it, then you make it, and it's really really nice for you because you have a ton of flexibility. Um, we'll see. He's thinking about it. You could consider the 5-4-11, but the issue with that is you leave the six sheep open, and you really like the geometry of just placing one road to get that to that sheep port. You don't really need the extra production that the extra wood would give you, and you can always still settle on the 5-6-11, because I don't anticipate blue here going for the 5-6-11 because that's a ton of brick, not really compatible wood, so the spot is probably open. I think that's what Gene is looking at too, actually. If I'm blue here, if I'm Dylan, I need some wheat and some wood. So 4-9-11 with the two wheat spots is calling my name. I think it's a very strong setup. Obviously, not super great wood production, but you start off with the wood and 1-5, and you get a road you can build and settle on that 3-for-1, and you have a really decent game going after that. And exactly what he does. And I think everyone here probably played pretty much as well as you could have. I think green here is in the stickiest situation coming out just because no sheep production is going to hurt. But if they can get some ports, then ports are always key. And if you can get ports, then you'll be okay. And the nice, along with the free road, the nice brick, and choosing to not spend the road. And I think that's a pretty dubious move on our part with Gene. I think just place the road because if the 7 gets rolled, then you get your wood stolen, then you got to wait a lot longer. This makes me think though that because blue is pointing up, threatening to settle on the 6-5-11, maybe he's waiting for a wood so that he can build 2 roads to cut off blue for that 6-5-11. Because that 6-5-11 is really good for our setup with red, because you have that brick port at the top right. But you gotta get lucky here. I'm not sure. At this point, you have 6 resources, so it's actually okay. And you do get the wood, and that's it. And that's exactly what he does. And great, absolutely amazing start if we're red. The sheep coming pretty much just in time. I think one more wood and we can settle first settlement, and that's absolutely massive for production and for the late game. That'll be a future city spot, right? So we have our city spots lining up already if we're red, and that feels really really good for us. Green here trying to get rid of some ore, because ore is really bad in the early game, right? But no one's interested, and I don't think we would be either. Because we are also trying to settle as red. And a nice brick. So this is great production. We hope these rolls keep coming. A nice dev card buy from blue. That'll be kind of annoying. But here, trying to get a wood from someone. And I would go all out here. I would go brick and 2 wheat for the wood. I don't care. I just want to settle and get the production at this point. But now, a potential bargain, but we don't need the extra wheat, and we would like to keep the brick just for extra road building. So yeah, that's a decline. I don't know if anyone really has wood. I think we produce wood more than anyone else. So unless they roll a 11 or a 10, we'll be out of luck with those trades. And green here building city, first city at first extra VP built. And okay, so here I'm very surprised by that city, not even a settle first, but that's probably because of the lack of sheep. Now if I am red, I potentially want to exploit that lack of sheep. Ooh, and already an early target from blue here, and we love that wood production, and we're able to settle without trading with anyone, and we love that. And the robber rolls again, but we don't really care now. We don't really need our brick or wheat anytime soon, so we, as far as timing goes, this is quite all right with us. Now the robber moves to the 4 wheat and going ahead and stealing from. Where do we steal from? I mean, if I'm green here, I definitely steal from red. But I think they're looking at what resources people have, but goes ahead and steals from red anyways. And we get the compatible wood. We can build a road now. I would build the road to the brick port, and then go to the sheep port later. You could also connect eventually for longest road here, and eventually go up to that 8 ore, and that's a winning game, clear path for red here. And another wood. We not that we need it. We're gonna hope for no 7, so we don't lose that wood. And another wood. Wow, these 3s are amazing for us, and we absolutely love it. Not complaining at all if we're red. And to close the game, man. Oh my god, amazing luck. You could even connect now for longest road. I wouldn't necessarily do it. And the robber rolls, placing on the 9 wheat, which I think is correct, getting a free wheat. And here, yeah, I think I placed towards the sheep port, secure that, and now setting up for, oh my god, perfect rolls for red here. We are in amazing shape, and now we just settle on the brick port, hope for no 7s, and from there I think it's looking really good. And I feel good if I'm Gene. Gonna decline every trade here for sure. We don't need it. We don't even need to trade with anyone anymore at this point. Once we get this brick port, and that's it, we're clear. No more 7s can harm us, and we're gonna go ahead and roll this. And selling on the sheep port first, I don't know if I agree with that actually. I think I would much rather settle on the brick port. But fair enough. I mean, I guess I understand it. Just want to get some sheep. And wow, with these rolls, this is crazy road production, and going ahead and connecting, which, yeah, we gotta do it at some point. So I'm totally okay with it. And more wood, and we wish we had the wood port now because all the wood. No brick to go with it, even though the brick numbers are better. So very interesting stuff. We're gonna see how it plays out. Green here, 7 resources in hand, but hasn't been able to settle still. So really struggling for that sheep, even though they do have the wheat port. And does it go ahead and use it, and probably this is the settle right here. Maybe not. Maybe it's a dev card buy. Oh, interesting move by green. And okay, I think if I'm red here, yeah, I don't really know what to do, but yeah, I guess just trade for an ore. Why not? Keep the hand count low, and maybe get some dev cards in the future. A nice 6 for us, and we're gonna hope for a wheat roll, a 4 anytime soon. And now we can actually do it. We can go ahead and do it. We're gonna 4 for 1 for wheat, and settle. And this is gonna be really hard for them to overcome, I think. So should be interesting. Should be interesting to see. Craziest block of my career, yeah, and that was an insane block. If you guys missed it, so many 9s rolled after that 9. That robber was placed on the 9 wheat, and yeah, craziest block. We take those if we're red. 7 VP in hand, and 12 is for victory. So no one has dev cards in hand, so no risk really out there. And gonna city next. Gonna have to city with 5 settlements. Cannot settle anymore without citying first. And green here placing an extra road. Very interesting. I think here The 9 is indeed hot, Gene says. And here needing to city, right? Does red. So 4 for wanting for wheat here does make sense. Actually, just okay. So utilizing that brickport to just save up for a city, which I could totally agree with too. And I mean, I would consider definitely a dev card, but we'll see. We'll see if it pays off. Definitely bottlenecked by the lack of ability to place a city, right? So we're gonna see. It's gonna be a hard earned city, and those that 12 will help a lot. And the rolls here, I feel like, have been amazing for us as red. So Gene's got to feel really good. We got to feel really good. Should be an exciting, good setup, I think, overall. And we're gonna see. Okay, so yeah, first day in forever. So that is part of the story as well. There have not been that many eights. We're gonna look at the dice stats, but if there haven't been that many eights, right, then we're gonna have to see if we can actually get to see that come back around, right? And maybe that'll balance things out. We get our first city finally, a very hard earned city as red. So now we're at 8 VP, and we're looking really smooth. 4 more to go. 3 more cities, very doable, and settle is really doable. So I would say road, settle, and ore, and then just city and dev card your way home. Really far ahead now. We're really far ahead, but we'll see if we can pull it back, pull it through, right? You gotta be able to finish, and we saw in Dylan's game. We saw in Dylan's playing game that we're gonna have to see it to believe it, right? We remember Alex H in the blue of that game having 4 VP in hand, so really just had 11 VP, was always in it, always in the game, and it was 12 to 11 to 8 by the end. So just it's always way closer than you think. Just got to keep fighting. And Gene wants them to block their own 8, which would always be nice, but I'm not sure if they're that kind when it comes to the knockout games. And building that road there, and I think that should have probably been the direction that blue went in the first place, just because I didn't think that red would try to compete for that spot necessarily. And here, utilizing that those ports, I don't think that trade makes sense, because I think he was trying to road settle, but he didn't have quite enough. So I think now he's just going to dev card instead, which makes sense. I think build an extra road as well, just use up everything, and I feel pretty good about that. Going to forgo using the road. I would have just used it just to expand to some settlement spot, even if it's an efficient one, like on that 6-3-12. But choosing not to, that's fine. Definitely a lot of paths to victory here. 1 VP in hand that no one knows about, so 9 points here. So just needs the city 3 times. The path is very clear. You have the 2 ports. It's looking really good. Gonna road settle for that extra ore production. now needs the city, but can totally do it. We are looking really good as Gene. And a city here for blue. So definitely fighting their way back. Feels pretty good. What are they trying to do here? Just preparing for a city again. So just going to take the slow and steady approach, but I think it's too little too late for everyone else. So slow and steady approach definitely works here. We're going to have to look at the nines at the end of this game. And everyone fighting back. Green at 7 points now. Connecting would get them to... Connecting the rows would get them to 7. Not enough to overcome 10 anytime soon. And here, building a city. Makes sense. And can also buy a dev card. And I think, yeah, easy plays, and can win very soon with that dev card. Year of Plenty can buy 2 ore or 1 wheat, and 1 ore or 2 wheat. 1 more city, and that's game. Unfortunately times 7 here for blue. And yeah, I mean, we love to see this, right? Love to see a fellow director kind of pulling through here, showing off why we run this league. It's good to see them defend, right? I won the tournament, the tourney last season. So far, directors have taken 1 out of 3. We have a good chance. We have a good chance of taking 2 out of 4 here. So we'll see if Gene can close this out, and from there we'll have at least. Well, we will likely have 1 more director in the finals if Gene pulls this off. So it should be very interesting if that does happen. And that should be game, actually. So trading a 2 brick here for a wheat, and then using Year of Plenty for 2 ore gets you enough for a city. And there's no way that anyone can stop it now. So this is GG's. And if Gene can see it, which I assume he can, should be a clean victory. And very happy for him as he takes this little victory lap here. Okay, and that's a GG. Snaps. Well done, Gene. 12 to 8 to 8. A great game. I'm very interested in dice stats. Whoa, the 9s were absurd. So honestly, can't even complain if I'm not red, because the 9s got you the wood, but it's definitely not the weeds. And I don't know how that development happened, but there's crazy blocks here. Yeah, and you see the 18 resources blocked on green spot, and that's absolutely massive. And Gene here obviously getting 98, way more resources than anyone else, and no wonder he takes home the victory. And yeah, that was a crazy perfect block, and probably the block of his career, like you said, and maybe we'll title it that. But it was really fun watching this, and I'm glad I got to. I'm glad you guys joined me, and we'll see if Gene can pull it off in the finals. So before that, we got 2 more semis games, two right here. And one of them, the one next time, is going to be with 2 out of our directors, Hunter and Albert. So we'll see if one of them can make it, or maybe that third player makes it. And that'll be semis 2 coming up. See you guys there.